Good night. Obviously, it's same old Daytona. Cars moving around and bouncing around, and handling came into play, and you saw a lot of passing, shuffling, and then there at the end, we had the big wreck.
All right, we're now joined in the infield media center by tonight's winning driver the number 29 Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet, Kevin Harvick. Kevin, tell us about your run.
Yeah, obviously it was a good night. Obviously it's same old Daytona. Cars moving around and bouncing around, and handling came into play, and you saw a lot of passing, shuffling, and then there at the end, we had the big wreck, and we were fortunate to be in front of it. And really coming to the white, I thought that it was going to be 33 first and us second, and then the caution came out, and we could see the white flag. And I was content with that. I knew those guys needed a good day, and I knew you never know what's going to happen on the last lap with people pushing and shoving from the back. But on the last restart, once the 24 pulled out and slowed those outside two lines down, that was pretty much the end of it.
We're also joined by tonight's winning crew chief, Gil Martin. Gil, your thoughts from how the race unfolded tonight and your view from on top of the box?
Well, I mean, the good thing about it is Kevin was able to come from the back a couple of times there early on in the race. We took two tires early in the race, and it kind of got us behind the eight ball some because it was good for about 5 laps, and then it wasn't any good. We got a little bit loose after that, so we knew towards the end of the race that we were going to have to get 4 from then on. So the lucky thing about it, we got that out of the way and didn't have to gamble with that later on. And I can't say enough about ECR engines. The way all 3 cars ran up front, it was a good night.
We'll go ahead and roll back in to questions. Again, as a courtesy, please state your name and affiliation. Ed's got a question, and we got 2 upstairs.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Kevin, you and Clint had worked so well right there before the last caution, just blowing by Gordon. And y'all looked like the latter stage of the race, you were just unstoppable as a tandem. But when y'all lined up for the green-white checker, did you sit there beside him thinking, hey, buddy, it's all over, one of us is going to have to go, or was there any way that you could have pulled off that y'all getting back together where the way things were going?
No, it was every man for himself at that point, just for the fact that, with the double file restarts and the way that it all shook out, the guys behind you are going to push you as hard as you can. So if I slow down to let him in or something like that, it's going to give the other line some momentum. So at that point, you just hope that your line goes faster than the other line, and fortunately tonight we were in the right line on the bottom, and wound up working out.
Upstairs.
Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. Kevin, obviously you're still in the lead with points with this victory. How confident are you that you can unseat Jimmy Johnson this year, and how much of a goal is that for you and the other drivers?
Well, I think until somebody beats him, he's still until we get to Homestead and that happens, he's still the guy to beat. And for us, we just got to keep working hard. We're in a fortunate position with the start to our season, and we need to, we got a plan to keep working on our cars and keep trying to make things better. And hopefully, when the stress starts with 10 weeks to go, we'll be as ready as we've ever been from the 29 and RCR standpoint. And I think we have a good plan for that, but you never know what's going to happen until you get in there. You got to be on your hot streak. You got to do everything right. You got to minimize the DNFs. You got to win a race or two. You got to finish in the top 5 and do all the things that we've been doing in the chase. So it's just you got to make it happen at the right time.
Kenny Bruce with SceneDaily.com. Kevin, at the end of the race there, really at any race, are the top 5 or 6 cars there, is there a lot of difference in them? Are there better cars, or is it all still just a crapshoot?
Well, I think when you get to the end of the race here, obviously, I think the only car that didn't have tires tonight was the 33. Some of them had 2, and 4 tires is the way to go. So you have a mixture of that stuff. So you have cars that are able to take pushes a little bit better and be able to keep the throttle down wide open, getting in the corners. And at that point, you're hoping for a good push or something to happen. So if you're 4th or 5th, you can break through to to get in the mix, coming to the white flag. So tonight it didn't come down to the white flag, but usually it does, and usually it comes from a push down the back stretch.
Kevin, Mark Dakota's from Florida today. A year ago, you guys were really struggling, RCR, and now this year you've turned it all around. You talk a little bit about what's made the difference this year, what maybe happened in the off season, and what's just different. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think, I would say definitely didn't happen this year.
No.
Most everything happened in the middle of last year. A lot of management changes. Pretty much started over on our race cars, took a different direction with the engineering, and really just kind of came up with a new plan. But Richard pulled the trigger on a lot of different things, whether it was reorganizing people, whether it was giving us the funds to build new cars. I mean, he stepped out on a huge limb to spend the money to start over with basically 4 teams in the halfway through the year, and it's paying off now for us. So at least we got back to where we could start this year, and everything has been progressing through the year, and we've been competitive every week. And after last year, you don't complain about anything, whether you've won 1 race or no races or 2 races now. You're pretty happy with where things are. I think we were 27th or 28th in the points after this race last year, so really excited about the turnaround. It's pretty remarkable, to tell you the truth, but in the end, I think Richard's the one who pulled all the triggers to make everything happen.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. I have a question for both of you. For Gil, can you talk a little bit about the tires and why so many people had trouble with the tires at the start? And for Kevin, right after that 1920 car wreck in turn 4, you came over the radio and said, "I don't know why Burton pulled out of line." Did that have something to do with everything that backed up behind him and just kind of triggered it?
Go ahead.
As far as the tires, I think a lot of that, the issues that everybody had at the beginning of the race was just due to the rain. The track was so green, and the tires were just wearing in, and a lot of guys probably were over cambered in the right front, and so I think we were getting a lot of tire wear because of that. Fortunately, we were pretty conservative on that, and as the track came in, I think it played into our favor. But as far as Burton getting out of line, I'll let Kevin answer that. I mean, you get a momentum run, and I guess you just try to seize the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm sure he had such a run, that he had to get out of line and had to go somewhere, because sometimes you're going so fast that you don't want to hit the guy in front of you because you're scared that you're going to knock the nose off your car or the back bumper off his car. And I think that's ultimately what happened, is somebody hit him in the back and actually spun him sideways. So, in the end, Jeff is the ultimate team player, and he's not going to be the guy that breaks up anything from an RCR standpoint. So I'm sure he just had a huge run, but unfortunately, I think he got tore up a little bit. But unfortunately, he kept going, so it all worked out for him.
We're also now joined here tonight by tonight's winning owner, Richard Childress. Richard, obviously a lot of good RCR cars running on the track tonight. Your thoughts on how everything unfolded?
I'm just proud of everybody at RCR for all the hard work they did, and to get these cars going. ECR, our engines were running great, and just proud of them. Proud of Kevin. Kevin's becoming one of these guys that when it's a restrictor plate race, he was kind of like Dale Sr. You knew he was going to be a factor in it, and to have all 3 RCR cars up there tonight leading the race, racing with each other, it was really cool to watch.